Welcome back. Cindy Dole here, and this is Home Wizards here every Saturday, 2 to 4, to talk about those strawberry fields of yours, right? How's your garden looking? And maybe you've been thinking about having some edibles come to those spaces you call home. We can do it. We've got one of the gardening pros here with us right now in the studio. Her name is Yvonne Savio. She is Horticulturist of the Year. She's also very involved writing for garden.org, which is a great website and a resource for all of your garden to-dos. And anyway, she's just an incredible lady. Common ground, you name it. She's helping people get smart across the board. So thanks for sharing your time with us, Yvonne.
Sure.
And I love what you were saying before we went to the break, that there's no such thing as having a green thumb or not, right? We just we're all kind of growing in the process.
You're just playing in the garden.
We're playing in the garden. So tell us about the September to-dos. What is it? I mean, does it matter where we live in Southern California in terms of what those to-dos are or aren't?
Well, September is really the magic time, as is March, because you can plant. You never know what the weather's going to do, okay? As we found out earlier this year, we never quite got out of spring.
I mean, and today is blazing hot.
Except for that time about a couple weeks ago where we had that week, and now we're having this other one where all of a sudden it's been summer with a vengeance. The tomatoes are loving it, but I sure don't. You know, that's my excuse always, is that I love having the tomatoes happy and producing, but I sure don't like being out there then.
And you shared with me that we should not put our tomatoes in the refrigerator.
Right. But let me finish my thought about the this being the magic time of year, because you can go both ways, and you really should. Labor Day weekend, plant the very last chance, so to speak, of all those things that will that you've been hoping for and growing all summer, just in case the weather is hot for another 2-3 months, which sometimes, as you know, we get up to Christmas and it still feels pretty warm outside.
Oh, yeah.
Certainly by Thanksgiving. And at the same time, we are making that transition, theoretically at least, to cooler weather. And consequently, this is the time to go ahead and start planting all those things that we'll be eating over the winter, like lettuce and broccoli and bok choy, cabbage, carrots, celery, chives, collards, even garlic, leeks, all that good stuff. And it's important to get an early start on these things, even though it feels so hot and uncomfortable, because you want all these things to be mature to the point where you can start harvesting by Thanksgiving. Because from there down, the weather really shuts down and the plants tend to kind of start to go dormant. You know, they really slow down. And so if they're mature enough by that time, you will be eating them all winter long. If they haven't gotten that mature by then, they're still going to slow down, and you may not get many carrots or much lettuce, or the broccoli will be really slow in developing. You know, the part that we eat, the little floret.
Even on a hot day like today, we should go out and plant some of these vegetables?
Well, not
today.
Not today. Basically, under 85 degrees, that's okay to go ahead and plant. And you should do it at the end of the day, maybe after 4 o'clock, when the sun is starting to get weaker, and then you get those items into the ground, either seed or transplants, the little seedlings, preferably from the 6-packs or even 4-inchers, but try to avoid the gallon size.
And why is that?
Because you really want those little plants to be able to adapt to your garden, where you're growing it, if it's in a container or if it's in the soil, wherever it is. But the younger the plant is, the better it can readapt and become together with the place where it's planted.
Kind of like people?
Indeed. Yes, the smaller you are, the better you adapt. But then after you get it in, because you've planted it at the end part of the day when the sun is getting less intense.
That's a great tip.
Then water it in well. And I always tell everybody, water it in 3 times. Water it once, it'll really the water will go down into that soil in your container, the potting mix, or in the soil in your garden, and then water it again. It'll go down a little slower, and then water it a third time. That time it'll be really slow with the water going down. The whole point is to get that whole root area really saturated and full of water. And also what you're doing is kind of melting the little soil pieces up next to the new roots that you have in that root ball from the little 6-pack. You should have loosened it all up. You don't just plunk that solid thing into a hole. You have to loosen up all the roots to make sure that, in a way, you're kind of telling that plant, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to mess up your roots, and then I put it in the soil, and I tuck all that soil around it, and with that 3 times of the watering, it melts all the soil close up to the roots, and therefore they can begin to get really established in their new home.
Okay, hold that thought. We're going to go through more of these September to-dos. Maybe you're thinking about your garden and you're going, what should I be doing for the rest of the month? We got the answers right here. The number is 888-539-2980. I'm with the Horticulturist of the Year. You got to call in. 888-KFWB-980. We'll talk more about what you should be doing to the garden. We'll talk about watering and not only edibles, but some drought-tolerant plants and just all kinds of good stuff. Home Wizards, I'm Cindy Dole. We're back after this.